Selamat sejahtera dan selamat sepupu. You know, the news this morning was kind of a coincidence because I was rereading this for the third time. Singapore is having its general elections right now. Nomination day has just come and gone, and people are going to be voting on May the 3rd, I think. And the drama...
Don't ask me about Pritam Singh again. I'm not interested in him. I'm not gay.
Is in full swing. But hey, you know what? Apparently, the Singapore elections were so interesting that PAS went away from its ladang babi and politics of fitna for just a moment to grace us with foreign interference. Now, I think most of us know this by now, but if you're a citizen of a country, then you have the exclusive right to vote in your elections. Now, election interference is illegal under Singaporean law, which means nobody should butt in, you shouldn't create fake news, try to influence people, or yap on and try to get people to choose things differently. Yet, somehow, that's exactly what PAS decided to do. Singaporean Ministry of Home Affairs released a joint MHA-ELD statement on takedown of foreign online election advertising, mentioning that two PAS leaders committed an offense under the Parliamentary Elections Act. Really specifically, what they said was, we have identified a number of foreigners attempting to influence this GE. Foreigners must not direct, fund, or in any way influence Singapore's elections. It is an offense under the Parliamentary Elections Act for foreigners to participate in elections activity or publish online election advertising. Singapore's politics must be for Singaporeans alone to decide.
And we know it's very serious because Lawrence Wong said this.
I'm calling this press conference in the middle of the campaign as Prime Minister because it concerns a matter of national interest.
The Infocom Media Development Authority, IMDA, as the Assistant Returning Officer, has issued corrective directions under Section 61N of the PEA to Meta to disable Singapore users' access to several OEA published on Facebook by foreigners during the election period. Specifically, these are the following posts by A. Parti Islam SeMalaysia, PAS's National Treasurer Iskandar Abdul Samad, who expressed support for a candidate in the GE. Facebook user Zai Now, identified to be Zulfikar bin Muhammad Sharif, an Australian citizen who renounced his Singapore citizenship in 2020.
After receiving an ISA detention, by the way.
And PAS Selangor Youth Chief Mohammed Sukri Omar, who reposted Zulfikar's post. Wow. Lovely. Foreign interference for the win. Jokes aside though, these people have come out playing victim, talking about how, oh, I was just expressing concern, reporting on a few notable Muslim candidates as if they are so holy and innocent and wonderful. But of course we know,
expressing hope that they will win is against the PEA. And already,
they are starting to play victim, talking about how they were only doing the right thing. How could they be accused of election interference? But Roskies, it is a fact, you are interfering. I mean, let's actually look at the post that they made. Sad if Faisal, which by the way means Faisal Manap, lose after all the good work since 2011, raised many issues, especially the Tudung issue, and had the courage to explain to Parliament regarding about religion and politics in Islam. Hope he will be successful once again, though tough.
Interesting that this is edited from his April 24th version.
Exporting race and religion politics is one of the things that we should probably not do. It's nice that you're so concerned, even as you talk about urban renewal and stuff like that, in a country that, by the way, you don't even live in. Even as you go out and then try to instigate people by talking about how the Malays in Singapore are suffering so much. You know, I wonder why these PAS leaders are so casually paying attention to the Singaporean elections when they can barely even make sure that the people in their care are able to actually save themselves, work proper jobs, live life without migrating to other states because their own states are filled with air teh tarik, sumbang mahram, drugs, and child marriages. You think to yourself that they would have concern for all of those things first rather than try to involve themselves in the elections of another country while pretending that they actually care, when in reality, they have no ability to actually deal with anything in their own backyards. This is like a clear attempt to like undermine the secular politics of Singapore. If you really care so much about the Malays, by the way, then how about you go out there and you actually improve their chances at life? Help them get better jobs, get better education, live better lives out there rather than going out there with your stupid obscure obscurantist doctrines trying to convince people vote for Muslims because that's the only way to make Malaysia great again, when obviously you have so much evidence to showcase that it didn't work. Even as both of you wheedle yourselves away, declare that you never urge voters to vote along racial and religious lines, while your entire party and almost every single Sinar Harian commenter suggests that you do exactly the same thing, because apparently kalau undi kafir maka hak orang Islam akan terjejas. Wow. Truly incredible. And so incredible to the point that Pritam Singh and the Workers' Party had to come out literally being all like, you know what, we're not gonna go out there and support candidates literally just because they have a specific religion. Which is how it should be. I mean, do you not see why WP would want to just go out there and avoid associating with you? It is because clearly you are advocating to just go out there and make people feel like their agama dan bangsa have been under threat, and the only way to do that is to support some leaders so that they can drive around in Mercedes or Velfire while you go on yapping about anak YTL, trying to get people to support Muslims, flame up those communal tensions over and over again, while you pursue your selfish so-called empowerment and so-called care, which by the way, you aren't demonstrating to your own community at all. It is sad, disrespectful, and it is sickening for me as somebody with Malaysian nationality to even be associated with people like you who want to act like your opinions were even needed or wanted in the first place, when in reality, you are just trying to earn clout and trying to influence the decisions of Singaporeans, which are, by the way, none of your business. I mean, seriously, nobody needs any of this stupid race or religion politics, whether in Malaysia or Singapore. When I look at this operation that's going on right here with PAS and this Noor Deros guy, I think back to the times when Syed Jafar Albar was threatening Malaysia, when inter-communal tensions were the flavor of the day. There's still a reality in Malaysia, but in Singapore, may I remind you that people actually died in the course of 2 racial riots, and because people couldn't agree with one another because of these agitators. And in Malaysia, people are not doing very much better, with all the people going out there and trying to menunggang kuil, haram, kebun, durian. Come on lah. Bro, it's like the 21st century already, and all of y'all have been continuing with this stupid agama dan bangsa type thing right here. Where has it ever gotten you? It has never gotten you anywhere. It will never get you anywhere, however much you try to yap and say that, oh, it's a matter of your pride. Hey, but you know, right? Like right now, I also want to complain about Singaporean influence into Malaysia. Because right now, there is this Singaporean ustaz named Noor Deros who is now working in Malaysia, probably because he has no accreditation in Singapore.
Mainly because he rejected this.
So it's not exactly foreign interference, but this guy is literally hiding in Malaysia and then trying to radicalize and then take action in order to compromise the integrity of the elections. By the way, this guy apparently studied at Al-Azhar, studied at Madrasah Al-Juniyat, which is where you may remember that Lawrence Wong met Ustaz Hasbi and Ustaz Basuni. It is this guy that reached out to all the Malay leaders of the Workers' Party and then suggested that if people follow what he is saying or suggesting, which includes, by the way, trying to get rid of MUIS, trying to make sure that LGBTQ is going to be oppressed forever, insisting that Singapore recognize Israel as terrorists, cut off diplomatic relations with Israel. He goes and suggests that if any political party were to actually go along with this, then he and his friends, with the small influence we have, will invite Muslims in Singapore to vote for WP. Wow. In a way, if you think about it, it is kind of fair. Like in Malaysia, you have these people trying to influence the elections in Singapore, and you have a Singaporean preacher living in Malaysia, and this guy is avoiding accountability for all of the nonsense that he is saying while trying to influence people. And by the way, as Singaporean racists like this guy seem to support, to the point of even saying that you can take the man out of China, but you can't take, well, amazing. Bro, someone like you is only going to destroy the relationship between Malaysia and Singapore, which is hard-won and that, frankly, you have no business butting in for. All in all, if we look at all of these people, whether it's the past members or it's the Noor Deros guy, what I see here is a common pattern. They obviously want to interfere with the legitimate right of the Singaporean people to influence them so that they choose Muslim candidates, to break the idea of secularism, which, by the way, is the flavor of Singapore politics, and that everyone around the world, including me me admire just so that they can suit their selfish ends, acting as if they are so smart and they are actually fighting for justice. Now, I don't personally live in Singapore, but I care that a place that is dedicated towards a true multicultural, multi-religious society that actually has harmony will remain that way. To the people of Singapore, I am sorry as a Malaysian that these nut jobs are interfering in your politics and trying to interfere in your sole, sovereign, and personal right to vote for candidates of your choice and to determine the government that you want and not a foreigner wants for you by your own choice. It is unacceptable, disrespectful, and frankly disgusting that there could be people out there who are trying to change the way that you decide, trying to influence you, and who think so little of your intelligence that they think to themselves that they can go out there and just yap however it is that they want while trying to assert their own vision. And so what I think is this: it's time for Operation Coleslaw number 2. I call upon the Home Ministry of both the Malaysia and Singaporean governments and also the Singapore Police Force and Police Diraja Malaysia to take action to arrest these people and actually take them away from the microphones that they seem to love so much as they try to influence the politics of a fellow sovereign nation. I also call upon the Home Ministries and police forces of both countries to arrest Noor Deros, or at least stop giving him shelter. We have had a good history together and I encourage us all to build strongly upon it rather than allowing these people who are in the process of trying to menunggang agama while acting like they are super holy along the way. That's not the direction that we want to go in, and taking action on these past members and also on this preacher who's allegedly fighting for mental health will be a good step along the way. If Noor Deros wants to really go out there and then keep on yapping about WP and stuff like that, then my suggestion to him is, if you want to go out there and criticize Singaporean government or advocate for political parties in Singapore, then you should do so while you are in Singapore rather than yap in the safety of Malaysia, acting as if your actions don't have any consequences. You want to hide away and you want to start yapping here, there, and everywhere, right? Then can you do me a favor and not do this in my country? Because you are being a nuisance and damaging the relationship between our two countries. Let's respect the right of Singaporeans to vote in this election and also the decision of the Singaporean people. And so, all Singaporeans out there, I hope that you have a good election. Alright, that's all to say about that, and bye.